All right, example number 5 has us going through that process that we just described in the previous video. So in particular, they're finding the intersection along the x-axis. So they're going to set their original expression equal to 0 rather than letting it remain equal to 9. So at first they have some expression that equals 9. They're going to subtract 9 from both sides so that the expression now equals 0. They're going to do a system of equations where the left side is an equation and the right side is an equation. The left side becomes this sigmoidal curve. The right side is just y equals 0, and they intersect at some location. So I'm going to keep using Desmos here because I like using Desmos. So we're going to say 2, and we're going to do, I don't know how you do cube root actually. Say CBRT. Yep. All right. Stuff out. All right, so we're going to put that in. We're going to have plus 1 at the end. We're going to have another one that's y equals 0. And we're just going to say, where does it go? 1.292. Okay. There are ways to do this algebraically that do not rely on tools. I prefer not to use tools whenever possible, just because it, I don't know, I don't know why. I feel like I've seen enough apocalypse movies that it just makes me feel happier when I know that were the internet to go down, were my resources, my ability to just Google things and use tools, if those resources ever disappeared, I would feel very happy if I was able to get by without those resources. Okay, so being able to do stuff by hand, in my opinion, is always better. But for this section, we're just kind of going over how we use the tools. Okay, so on a graphing calculator, they kind of walk you through some steps here. They say that there's a system where you can type in, you can go to the 0 feature, you can press calculate. They'll ask you for two numbers kind of that are next to where the intersection is. So we'll say, okay, it's somewhere between 1 and 2. That helps the calculator limit the amount of operations it needs to do to solve, as it kind of estimates its way to the answer. But in general, if we just go on Desmos and we put these in, we can find the solution right here is 1.292. Okay, so that's a great way to use a calculator to easily solve these radical equations. Okay, moving on, we'll take a look at the next example.